with Louise McCart, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing an ornament video, and it's probably my most complicated and most difficult video as far as editing goes, because I have multiple portions, multiple videos, and I'm trying to share the process with you as efficiently as possible. So I'm just giving this intro to let you know you're going to see a little bit of jumping around, but I try to explain everything so it's clear. But everything that's here in this entirety is going to be well worth your watch, because I must have at least 20 pro tips during this video that I'm sharing that give you the best means to create these bloom transfer ornaments. And I think I've done over 100 by now, and I think I've discovered the best way, and the sequencing is so important. So without any further ado, let me get you down and we'll get started. And definitely you want to probably take notes on this, because it's going to be worth your while. All right, I'll be back in a second, everybody. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to be, can you see me right? Let's see. I'm going to be putting on the pillow here. This is just scrap pillow paint that was born out of prior blooms that have been just picked up the scrap. So I'm going to fast forward through this. You don't need to watch all this, but I'm just going to rub this around. This is the back. I'll rotate this around. So I'm just going to throw in here, the sequence is important, is what I've discovered. And that is, you want to get your bloom done first. The bloom is on the right, already done. And now I'm laying down the pillow on the ornament. I'll explain more as we get in more detail. And I'm just learning to use less paint all this time too, because I don't need to use all the paint that I've been using. Okay, so here's the point of the drill. So I have the ornament hooked up there with a regular skewer pushed into a wine cork, and the skewer connected to the drill and secured. The less pillow I put on here, the less I have to deal with drips, the faster it'll go. And having been a quality manager and a continuous improvement manager, being able to get things done more efficiently is always in the best interest, especially when you're making a lot of these. Oh my gosh. And in doing a lot of these, I think I found the most efficient and the best way to do them. But you know what? It's fun. It is fun to make these. Okay, so that's that. So now I need to load up my palette knife here. Just going to clean it off real quick. Get the excess off. Meanwhile, now the reason why I've left this sitting here like this is it gives that bloom time to settle down. I'm going to take some of the scraps from in here. I'm going to use that as my leading edge. Because if I were to try to pick up that bloom right now with no pillow paint or extra paint on the leading edge, what will end up happening is that the leading edge of this bloom will start to roll over. It'll start to fold under. It'll fold under, and essentially the bloom will start to disappear. Okay, so here we go. So one thing I'm looking for is the best side, and I'm going to scoop on the side that is my least favorite side. I'll explain. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to start to angle this, tip it up. I hope you can see, without trying to minimize the amount of crushing that's going to happen in the center of the cells. The cells are going to crush no matter what. I also don't want the back edge to fold over the cells in the middle, if you know what I mean. So I got to do this very carefully. I got to let it lead on to stretch out the cells, have enough tip so that I preserve the cells as much as possible, and then get all the way to the edge, pick it up, hold on to it, transfer it over. Notice the angle of the palette knife as I'm delivering it to the ornament. So I always scoop up the side that's my least favorite part, because the leading edge that you put down is the prettiest part, and that's what survives when you put it on the ornament. The back edge, as you can see, doesn't even make it off the palette knife. So I'm replaying the transfer here to show you the palette knife angle, which is important. When I first start, I'm at about a 40-degree angle. By the time I get to the end, my palette knife is at about an 80 or 90-degree angle to try to get as much paint off. Underneath. take a look at where we are. All right, so right now, it's not bad. I have a little bit of blank space on the neck, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some of my scrap paint that's down here that's got color on it, and I'm going to go over the neck. Just add a little color to it. Get some of that red. All right, now I'm gonna do a little administration here, cleaning up. I'll be back. So another replay on a pro tip here, make sure that your leading edge has enough pillow paint so that you're not rolling over itself as you're loading it onto the palette knife. So I'm gonna give it a quick blow. So I'm just blowing to guide the paint that's being pulled by gravity down with the straw, just to get it in the right direction, but you don't wanna overdo this too much because then the back won't look natural. Just start it guiding in the right direction. Guide it a little more this way. Feel free to move your ornament around to get the composition to spread out as much as you want, however you want it to show on the ornament. Because this is the prettier part than that side. And that often happens. The leading edge is often the prettier part versus the far end. Okay, now we're going to get that fairly straight. So while gravity is doing its magic here, let's take a look underneath and see what's going on. Okay, everyone, so here is what the underside looks like. And this is just after some blowing with the straw, blowing it in. So every time there's a drip that forms, you can see the angle there. I'll blow it in. I can't see. Here we go. I'll blow it in with the straw until it starts to form a nipple. Until it starts to form like a nipple underneath, and it'll form a nipple underneath, and it'll all kind of gravitate to one spot with a little bit of assistance. So I'll hit it with a little bit of a toothpick. I'll just kind of pull it in as I go. I'm not going to show you because I can't show you and do it at the same time. But you just have to trust me on this. Yeah, and as it dries, I'll also be pulling it in with a toothpick a little bit until it's fully formed. So I'm going to end up showing you finally where I put it to bed, like I've been doing with the other videos, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to get started on my next ornament. So this is when I make the next ornament. I don't know if you saw that process yet. Stretch this out. Let's get going over here. So I'm doing this so I can get ahead on this one. So gravity's playing over there, and meanwhile this one is going to be developing. I'm going to get it started. So here's another pro tip. I'm finding very important to let time just take care of things. So the bloom that's sitting on the skewer has got time for the gravity to pull the drips down naturally, so it's going to look good in the back. Meanwhile, I make the second bloom on the silicone pad, and then eventually give that time to settle down once I blow it out. You'll see. So as I've done a lot of these at this point, I'm finding that the more patient you are, the better off you'll be. You don't want to hurry how gravity's pulling down the paint, and you don't want to hurry the bloom onto the ornament. You want to have all these things happening at the same time so that time's working with you and not against you. Back to the middle a little bit more. So this is my Australian Floetrol cell activator. I have a ton of it, that's why I keep using it. But I do have a really good recipe. It's video 141. I will link it above. It's American Floetrol cell activator recipe. Here, I probably put too much down again. So as I blow out the bloom, I'm doing the bloom just like I do any other creation when I blow out with my mouth. I'm blowing straight down into the cell activator to get that cell activator to try to open up in as much of a full circle as possible and form a ridge where the cell activator meets the paints. Then I direct my blow where that ridge is formed, and I blow the cell activator out over the paints and then the paints out over the pillow. If you want to see a good instructional video of how to blow out, I have video 419. I'll link it above. It'll show you all the ins and outs of blowing out. Hi everyone, I'm going to take a moment here to explain. I'm going to do another bloom because I have more information in this bloom that I created in a separate video, and I don't want to have to splice it out, so I'm just going to give you a bonus bloom today. All right, here we go. Okay, well that's settling down. I'm going to get started on my next one. And this is the process I go through the entire time until I get through. I'm doing 8 today. So my goal today is to get 8 as efficiently as I possibly can. Stretch this out, lay the paint down. But anyway, you see what I'm doing. I'm going to keep the process going, work on this one. Gravity's working on that one. Gravity's working on the ones over there. And I'll get over there and I'll clean up them a little bit, and I'll show you a picture at the very end where I'm leaving them off at the end of the day today. So I'm going to stop with that, I think. You know what? I can do another bloom. I'll pick the best bloom. But the key is when you start to do your blooms that day, you start right here doing the bloom, because you want to give this bloom time to set up and settle down. Because there is no doubt in my mind, doing this transfer and letting it sit here, it gives the bloom time to settle and stabilize those cells. And I've had a lot of people ask me about blooming directly on the ornament, which I have done, and it's in video 280 if you want to take a look at that. But I find that the cells hold up much better doing it this way. So as I lay down the colors here, I just want to apologize. I hope this hasn't been too confusing, splicing some of these videos together, but I wanted to make sure to get the best points out of each video that I could. And I also want to point out that if you check out my description by clicking on the title of the video, you'll get more details, links, and things like that as well. Also, I'm not going to show you the varnishing in this video, but if you see some of the previous videos, you'll get the whole varnishing process as well. I'm going to put less cell activator down this time. Oh, I need a blow on these. So if you're the type of person that likes to keep a lot of different things going at the same time, this is a perfect technique for you. So certainly as time goes by, the drips start to form, and as it's pulling with gravity, you want to just guide it a little bit, but not overdo it, because like I mentioned, if you overdo it, the lines of the drips coming down start to look jagged and they don't look natural. So to keep the back as pretty as possible, just let gravity do most of the work and just guide it just a little bit with some air. Okay, cell activator. Once again, this is my Australian Floetrol cell activator recipe. That was the titanium white, and this is the Oxide Black. I do have a great video, 141, that shows you how I make my American Floetrol cell activator. So as I'm blowing this out, I'm blowing straight down into the cell activator to get it to form as perfect a circle as possible. And then I will have a ridge from where I just blew. Then I'll aim my blow at the ridge, which will blow the cell activator out over the paints and the paints out over the pillow. And it's a funny thing, as much as I've covered this multiple times and have done hundreds of blooms Every one is different, and you have to adapt your blow for each one that you're doing. Okay, let that settle for a second. Okay. All right, that's looking good. Let's give this a spin. So as you see, a little bit of juggling around as you go through the process, but once you get the routine down, it's actually quite easy. Let that go while I'm playing with the bottom here. And I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm essentially just taking drips and pushing it toward the center. So what ultimately happens here is, with the gravity pulling from the back with a little assistance from the blow and the bloom transfer in the front, you end up with a 2-for-1 ornament that you can place either which direction on your tree, and it's really cool. White spot. So yeah, that's the process. So what I'll do now is I'll finish this one off. I'll put that one to bed. I will get the next blank ornament. I'll insert it in here, put the pillow down. Meanwhile, this is settling down and stretching out. I'll lay the pillow down, put some pillow on this, leading edge of the palette knife, scoop it up, drop it on. Same process again. But this way, I'm doing two things at the same time. And the key point is this bloom is having 5 to 7 minutes to settle down and stabilize, while this one is letting gravity take over. So I'm letting two things happen in nature at the same time that I can't speed up the process of, but if I adjust how I'm pacing myself through the process, I can have nature working with me at the same time I'm doing my creations, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's really cool. I'm glad I discovered the way to do this, and it's making it a lot more efficient to get these 8 ornaments done. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll be back to show you the full entourage over there when I get done today. So everyone, here's where I dry my ornaments off. I have a little staging area here, put a few holes in this piece of wood, stick the skewers through, and let them dry as I toothpick off some of the drips during the day. So that's a wrap. If you want to see my varnishing process, just go back to any one of the prior couple videos. I show my varnishing process, so be sure to check that out. And here's a close-up of the fully varnished front and back, so you see what the back looks like as well. And I am really happy with this process and love the way this turned out. And here is the full batch, fully varnished and all together, ready to go. And at the end of the video here, I'm going to have my playlist for ornaments so you can see other color combinations and other style ornaments. And be sure to check out my playlists anyway. I have many playlists based on categories such as coasters, charcuterie boards, lazy susans, clocks and jars. Lots of different functional art tutorials for your use. So that's all for now, everybody. I'm going to sign off and take care till next time.